What's going on, everybody? Here, Tom here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to play Ashe from my experience, at least, and give some tips on how to play her a little bit better, how to use her abilities and all that stuff. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Before I get into it, actually, I apologize if the game is still a little bit stuttery and laggy, or at least stuttery, because I'm still trying to figure out how to record it properly on PC. But yeah, hopefully the video looks right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first, I want to start off with Ashe's abilities and how you kind of use her kit. So first off, she has the Viper, her weapon. So you can either shoot it zoomed in or zoomed out. The zoomed out is more of a close range thing. So if you get close and personal with like a Reaper or something, you can use this and kind of back off. And so your first ability is that back off thing. So you can use this 3 ways. As you can see, you can get away from enemies like that. Get back in a pinch. You can also get some height to kind of snipe better. Sorry. Like this. So that's a very good way. Or there's also another way you can use this that not a lot of people really talk about. But you can actually boop stuff off the map, kind of like Lucio, like this. And if you're close enough, you can actually boop people off the map. And actually in one of my games that I played today, I actually booped a Reinhardt off, believe it or not. So you can actually use it to get rid of the tanks if they're dumb enough, or if you're just smart enough and outsmart them. So you can use that to either get away, get some height to snipe better, or you can knock them off the map. And so, yeah, you can do that. I actually didn't get to finish talking about the Viper, so that's for more close range. And then you can zoom in, and you can get some more sniping action in. Like that. And it does more damage. It's more precise, but more damage. So more precise, more damage when zoomed in. When zoomed out, a little bit less damage, but a little bit less precise. So you don't have to be as precise. So that is the Viper, and then that's your first ability. And then your second ability is the Dynamite, which you throw. And after a certain amount of time, it ignites, or you can actually shoot it too. You can shoot Dynamite as you're throwing it. That's a very good tactic, so you make sure your enemies definitely don't get away from it. So kind of like this. So that's something that you can do with Ashe. And I'll go over the different instances of how to use the Dynamite properly, what ways to kind of use it strategically. But anyway, that is your main abilities. Most of your kit is just going to be sniping, really, and then using a Dynamite to get behind shields and stuff for like Reinhardts or Brigittas or whatever. People with shields, Sigma. And then your ultimate is throwing Bob. And pretty much just locks onto enemies and shoots them. So. And if you know how to place them properly, you can get quite a bit of damage off and get quite a bit of kills. But yeah, pretty useful. Now, mainly it's going to most times just be a tactic of trying to get a point capped, or he actually counts as like a person on a point. So if you got nobody on point and the enemy team has 99%, and you're like 90%, and they're about to cap the point, you can actually throw Bob on the point, and he will count as like a player, and will keep the point contested until you guys get in there. So he can actually come in quite clutch if you need him to. So pretty useful, and I can kind of show you how to use them better later on. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Bob. And honestly, I don't even know if I really will go over how to use them better later on, because there's not really much tactic to using his ultimate, but just make sure to place him properly, and you can place him to where he is in front of doorways and blocking off the enemy team if you're trying to cap the point or whatever. And he does get kills, like I said, but you can mainly, you're really going to use them to kind of come in clutch and keep a point from getting capped, or keep the enemy team away from a payload or something. So that's all the abilities. Alright, so I want to talk a little bit about how to use your abilities a little bit better. This will be a shorter section, as there's not much you can really do to have a better strategy more than just shooting, practicing, sniping. But as far as the Dynamite goes, something that I mentioned before is you can actually throw it and shoot it, so like this. And that's something you want to do so that the enemies, you know, don't get away from Dynamite and don't get hit by Dynamite, or Reinhardt blocks it up, or whatever, Sigma. So, and then you can also, like I said, throw it over shields. you want to throw it and then shoot it. And you can either zoom in or zoom out shooting it, but most times when you throw it, it's right on your crosshair, so you can shoot it just like that. And actually, something that you can also do is you'd kind of be wasting your abilities by doing this, but you can also, if you're in a pinch and you're trying to throw dynamite, you got a Reaper on you or something, you can actually do this. Well, I actually didn't get to, but you can throw a dynamite and then use your scatter blast to get back, and you can actually shoot the dynamite while you're going back. So let me try it again, kind of like that, so you can get back and shoot the dynamite at the same time, so you can kind of scare a Reaper off and get him to go at least into his wraith form, so he's more vulnerable. So yeah, you can use that kind of like that, and then most times you're just gonna want to throw it, shoot it like that, and that's most of the strategy with your abilities in shooting. Oh, and actually something that I kind of came up with, I was thinking about this yesterday, you can actually do something like this where you can bait your enemies into getting into the dynamite. So say I throw my dynamite here, you can actually shoot them over towards the dynamite. Well, he got hit by it anyways, but you can kind of throw a dynamite here. Let's say you throw a dynamite here and there's an enemy here like there is. You can throw them over towards the dynamite and force them to get hit by dynamite if you can't shoot it properly. So like this, shoot him over here, and he actually gets hit by dynamite because you force them to get thrown into the dynamite. So that's something that you can also do with Ashe. So that's something I kind of came up with. I don't know if I'm the first to come up with it, probably not, but you can kind of bait your enemies and then force them to get hit by a dynamite. So that's also useful as well. I think that's about it for all the abilities and stuff, how to use them better. But just pretty much you want to use your stuff strategically. Remember, you can get some height like this, be able to snipe better, shoot your dynamite. Make sure you're almost always throwing dynamite. That's something I do want to mention. Always, every time that timer goes out, don't let your timer overflow of your dynamite. Almost always throw your dynamite. Be throwing it at all times and shooting it. And try to always shoot it. But if you can't always shoot it, that's fine. Sometimes they might run into it because that's something that they don't really pay attention to, I've noticed. And then, of course, use your short range whenever you're up close with a Reaper or something. Now, if you do happen to survive a Reaper, you know, you can use the short range. You're going to be able to survive better, I guess I should say, if you're using your short range instead of trying to snipe a Reaper, like, really close up like this. It's better to use short range. And then also just obviously use your long range at long range. Nope. Just always be using your dynamite and stuff, and then use your buckshot to get back. So yeah, that's most of the abilities for Ashe. I'll use them better. Now, something I didn't actually mention about Bob is you can actually pretty much screw Reinhardt. So let's say there's like a Reinhardt here. He's got a shield towards me. You can actually throw Bob, and he's screwed both ways because if he can either block you off from getting damage against you, or he can block off Bob. So either way, he's screwed because he's either going to get shot and killed by you or shot and killed by Bob. And that's actually a good strategy of using Bob as well. So you can be behind the Reinhardt, and then Bob can be in front of the Reinhardt. So you can pretty much throw him over. And just, like I said earlier, just use your Bob strategically. Try to keep him on points to get the point, from keeping it from getting capped. And just try to contest that point as long as you want. Or the payload, too. He can also work on payloads to contest the payload. I believe, at least. I know he can contest points. And I'm pretty sure he can contest payloads. But yeah, just kind of use them more strategically. Like I said, there's not really a way to strategically use them that well. But just get them to come in clutch for capping points and not letting the enemy team cap your points. So real quick, I do want to talk about Ashe's strengths, people that she counters. Now, she doesn't exactly counter people, but something you can do is on Genji. Now, he has deflect. Obviously, he can deflect your dynamite back at you, but if you actually catch it enough, so let's say he's deflecting. Well, I kind of messed up. You can actually shoot the dynamite while he's deflecting. It can still hurt him. So if he's actually low health, you can actually kill him with your dynamite if you're lucky enough. So he's deflecting right now. Let's say he's deflecting right now. Shoot it. It still hits him. And then you can also shoot him and dynamite can kill him while he's deflecting. So that is something you can use against Genji. You can use this deflect against him, kind of. And then another character that's good against kind of is Tracer. So if you got an annoying Tracer zipping all over the place, throw a dynamite in there and get her. Although this doesn't work too much, as I was experimenting this earlier with Tracer, an enemy Tracer that we had, and she can just, she can just use her redo thing where she goes back in time or whatever, and just not be burning anymore. So that kind of sucks. But Tracer can be good for. It can be good for Genji. It can actually be good for Sims turrets. If you get, so let's say Sims turrets, she's got like 3 turrets right here, and you don't want to get hit by them. You can actually go over here and shoot your dynamite, and your dynamite can break all of those 3 turrets at the same time pretty quickly. So it can be very useful for that as well. So like I said, these characters you don't really counter, but you can be pretty strong against the. You're pretty strong against Genji. You can kind of shoot through his deflect kind of with your dynamite. You can get him killed while he's deflecting with dynamite. Shoot it fast enough. Tracer you don't really counter, but you can get your dynamite on her so she gets back, or uses her redo and kind of wastes it. And you can also go against Symmetra and Bastion, people like that you don't want to peek the corner of, or Widowmaker. You can use dynamite on real quick and get them to get back or whatever. Like I said, Reaper, if he's close range, you can use it on him. But yeah, she's not really particularly strong or weak against many characters. She's pretty balanced in that way. So she's not overpowered, but she's not underpowered. I was going to make a whole section about weaknesses, but there's not really much that you can really go on. I will say look out for snipers, like obviously like Hanzo. I would consider a sniper. Watch out for headshots, but that's every character. Watch out for an enemy Ashe. Don't get diffed by the enemy Ashe. You don't want that. And then watch out for Widowmaker. So I would strongly suggest you don't try to 1v1 a Widowmaker, because you're going to lose that battle unless you're just really good with Ashe. I'm personally not, but just try not to 1v1 a Widowmaker. If a Widowmaker is halfway across the map, just don't, because you're going to get sniped in one shot, depending on what the distance is. Of course, she's been nerfed a little bit now, so, depending on the distance, you're probably going to get one shot. So just don't 1v1 a Widowmaker. And don't get diffed by an Ashe. And of course, McCree can throw his grenade, ironically enough. He can throw his grenade and kill you pretty easily. Ironic because they're enemies. Ashe and McCree are. Or Cassidy, but I'm going to keep calling him McCree. But yeah, in general, she doesn't really have many strengths or weaknesses that are overpowering. Now, I will say for like strengths and stuff, she has some pretty good strengths, as she can knock people off the map like that. And I can even show you, like,
gone with the wind. Over here.
What's a good tank? I'll show Reinhardt. So you can even knock Reinhardt off the map, as you can see. So that can be very good. Even tank P characters you can get off map. Of course, you gotta watch out for Mercy and stuff. Make sure Mercy doesn't res the tank. But if you get the tank out, that'll be very good for you and your team. Especially if you're in competitive playing Ashe. That can definitely help you a lot, so... That's a good strength of her, being able to be versatile and very survivable to a certain degree, being able to get away with her buckshot, and being a good medium to long range sniper. Obviously, she doesn't do as much damage as Widow, but she's very good for sniping, getting those shots, getting those headshots off, doing damage. She's just a very good versatile damage, and she works pretty much with any team comp, I would say. So she's very good competitive as well. Alright, so I think that's most of what I wanted to talk about with Ashe. Just, use your dynamite as often as you can. Shoot it. And use your buckshot very sparingly, as that's your only way to get away. Pretty much. And you can't always get saved by your Mercy or your other supports. So, just always be sparing with your abilities. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend this mooter right here, where you use both abilities sometimes, because you left yourself wide open for somebody to come up and kill you very easily, and you can't get away. But like I said, if you got a Reaper like right on you, can do that, and that'll work. But I wouldn't recommend it in most situations, unless it's a very dire situation. But yeah, keep on using your dynamite and stuff. Remember, you can knock people off the map with your buckshot, and use Bob pretty sparingly, not sparingly, but use them pretty strategically. Keep them on points and stuff. So, yeah, she's a very good character, and if you guys have trouble with aiming, Make sure you watch my aiming video, especially the one on PC. I went a little bit more on how to aim on PC, as I recently switched to PC. I've been playing on PC pretty recently. How many times can I say PC in the same sentence? I don't know. Anyways, remember that you can do the aim training I send there. And actually, something that I forgot to mention that I might mention in the comments of that video is I started using aim labs recently because everybody is telling me use aim labs, use aim labs. So aim labs has been actually helping me quite a bit. I've been learning to like strafe better and get strafe shots off instead of just aiming like this and staying still. So aim labs has actually helped me a lot, and it's taught me quite a bit. And there's some really good Overwatch playlists that I've been using for aim labs, and they can actually help quite a bit. So if you have trouble aiming with Ashe, make sure you check out my videos on aiming, especially one on PC, and make sure you check out aim labs. It's free on Steam. It's only about like 11 gigabytes, I believe, and it's got quite a bit of stuff in there. So if you play Valorant, if you play Overwatch, anything like that that's aiming, CS:GO, I think they might have some stuff for that. Anything like that, they have tons of playlists for each character. Like I found a playlist for Hanzo, though it wasn't very good, and then I found a playlist for McCree, for Ashe, for Widowmaker, and they're just really good for training your aim. So I use this playlist every day, about once or twice a day, trying to get my aim better. So yeah, aim labs can help as well. But anyways, I think that's all I want to talk about on Ashe. So let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments, or if there's anything I missed or just didn't know to mention. Make sure you let your fellow friends down in the comments below know. Let them know what your tips are. Let me know your favorite tip on Ashe that I may have missed as well. So I hope this video helped. If this video did help, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Bye.